welcome to Ancestrally Speaking on this mighty June 21st, and this is also Father's Day, I believe. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce our favourite internet psychic, Psychic Zaya. Come through, girl, come through. Yay!
Hi.
Hello! How are you doing? How you doing?
I am good. You look
Oh,
beautiful.
oh, thank you. So good to see you. Listen, I'm rushing around. It's hot as hell. I've had to turn my AC off. So if you see me like waving this, yeah, I'm trying to keep cool. And to be frank, I know that what we're going to be talking about is going to be spicy. So I'm going to keep this at hand. And I got me a little drink too.
I have
Mhm.
what are
I
you
ain't
I'm
playing.
drinking water. What are you drinking? Is that like
Well,
a tea?
it's amazing. Trader Joe's, you need to give me an endorsement. So this is sparkling apple cider with
Oh.
cucumber and mint. It's really
Is
refreshing.
that
So
new?
Uh, I'm not sure, it could be, but they also have like this amazing ginger shot, which I actually have first thing.
I've had
It
that.
blows your nostrils out, but this is also nice to start. So I'm
Okay.
not gonna blow my nostrils out this morning. Well, hello and welcome to Ancestrally Speaking. It's so good to connect with you on here,
Thank
girl.
you.
Girl, our lives, our lives right now. And you know, it's so funny. So me and Zaya have known each other for a while, right? And we were
Yeah.
actually in Miami together at Christmas and
Yes.
New Year's. And so we spent New Year's Day together in a couple of days. It was amazing. And I remember, Zaya, you said to me, you went, something big is coming. I don't know what it is, but my spirit guys keep telling me, prepare, 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 prepare. And I was just like, okay, all right, I hear you, you know, kind of thing. But here we are in
Yeah.
the middle of a global pandemic that we've never
Yeah.
seen before.
Yeah.
And things are changing, things are being
Things.
demanded, peace and
Yeah.
humanity is being demanded. Wow. I mean,
Absolutely.
give me a little, I guess, actually, first of all, let's introduce you to the people who don't know
Okay.
you, because everyone should know you. But tell me, come on, give us the juices.
Hey everybody! So I want to say thank you to Simone and the
Of
Tools
course,
for a Living family for having me here. I'm
of
coming live
course.
from you guys from Los Angeles, but I'm from New York. We met in New York
Yeah.
through a mutual friend.
Yes.
And yeah, so I'm a psychic medium and an empath and a freelance writer. And I used to
Mhm.
work in fashion, but I've been doing psychic medium work for the past 5 years. And I've built my business from my laptop while living as a digital nomad. Simone actually let me sublease her place years ago in London. I don't know if I
Right,
can say.
right.
And and that allowed me to study with some amazing
Yes,
tutors in England.
yes.
So yeah, I'm coming here today to talk. We're talking all things metaphysical and spiritual. And
That's right.
I forgot I even said that to you, but I was telling everyone December and January. I was like, 2020 is it's gonna drag us
Yeah.
into alignment.
Oh, I
And
knew that. Yes.
yeah, we all felt, all the spiritual people felt something,
Yes.
but I knew they didn't show it to me, and it wasn't meant for us to
No.
see it. It wasn't
No.
meant because
No.
that would have changed everything, right? But
Probably. Yeah.
I knew that
Mm.
this is tough. I mean, I've had days when I'm like, I can go to bed and never come back here again. Like this is yeah, seriously, because I
Some
know
days I just
people.
sleep. Some days
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
sleep. It's
because you
like,
just
no,
have to
I'm
like,
not waking up. Yeah.
no, and you do tarot readings, I do readings, and so
Yeah.
we're taking on
Yeah.
people's problems anyway. And like I told a lot of my friends, I was like,
Ooh.
I don't send me these text messages about the latest news because I take on
Yeah.
pain whether this thing is going on or not. So
This
I
this is
have,
it. This is it. That's why I'm very delicate around police brutality. That's why there's only certain posts I'm going to make. Like, it's not that, you don't hear me. And also, just people should also understand Instagram is not my main vote. That's not my main platform to say that because you haven't seen X, this means that. It doesn't. That's
it
not,
doesn't,
but it's very hard for people like us who feel on
right,
more than just the
right,
physical, emotional level. This thing is
right.
going through our genealogy, is going through our
That's right.
cells, and
That's
we're
right.
experiencing a
That's
lot of
right.
trauma
Trauma.
which is not ours. And so we have to
Right.
be very careful so we can get up and be ourselves because we're still
Right.
human, but also
Right.
be able to give, to enjoy and things like that. So it's
Right.
a difficult line
It's
we walk.
very
And
hard.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
mentioned that. I'm glad
Yeah.
you
And I
mentioned that.
think
People don't
our
realize.
generation, no, and I think our
Mhm.
generation is the least equipped because
Right,
we're like that
right.
that Zennial, Gen
Yep.
X, Millennial,
Hmm.
and we had this period of when you didn't really have a whole lot of strong racist stuff going on. It was more the corporate
Right,
racism, the
right,
microaggressions, more
right.
than
Hmm.
the coming out of the 60s or the 70s. So we really are
Right.
starting a bit from scratch, and we're coming at an international level. We've never had this much news and information come to the human race at one time. You watch a cat video, then you watch
Yes.
someone being killed
Yeah.
by the police. I mean, what the
God,
this is,
I
they're trying
know.
to drive us
Yeah,
this
yeah. No, you're
way,
right.
you know.
I love that you mentioned about we're kind of starting again in terms of how our activism, because there was a post I saw from someone who's younger than me, a millennial or xennial, and she said, where are the older Black people? We need you. We need your guidance. We don't know what to do. We're just doing this, but we don't know. And I haven't yet, and I need to, but I wanted to reach out to her and say, baby, there's nothing that we can give you for these moments, because this time is very different from what happened in the 60s, what happened in the 80s and the 70s England, when there was the riots, which gave rise to all the, you know, the civil rights. Like, the things we were doing there, the things that we had in our everyday was very different. You could have a job for life then. You could go and get a degree and have a great job. Those things are gone. So the skills we have are slightly redundant to the activism. There is still good quality knowledge and guidance. I mean, the only thing I can say is take your organizing off social media, but there's another little gem there. But, you know, the organizing, I just feel, shouldn't be as accessible as it is at the moment. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. But go ahead. You were saying some other gems.
But I think also our generation, because we're Zennials, you know, Gen X, we don't really have a whole lot either. And especially if you didn't grow up with grandparents. And then you've got, like, my mom is Jamaican, so she didn't really go through that experience. But my Black Southern grandparents did, but they're dead. And my father, who went through it, he's deceased. So, but I think at the same time, the beauty is we do have the technology, and we do have it, because if it wasn't for the technology, nobody would believe this shit was happening. Not even some of our own people. Basically. And so, and you know, with us being spiritual girls, we also know this is a spiritual thing too, and that's the thing. I'm trying to talk about.
That's the puzzle piece which people just don't want to put in there. They don't want to put in there, but they don't want to put it in there.
I don't even know if they know it. Like, when I tell people, I say, you know, you're marching, and that's great, and you're wearing your T-shirts, and that's great, and I don't know how much laws are being changed, but you need some voodoo, and you need some obedia, and you need some Shango.
Hello. And also, like, let's just look at the blueprint for Black freedom, which is the Haitian Revolution, which is the reason why we live the way we live as Black people in the diaspora. Is because of what they did. They did for 10 years, but what powered them? African spirituality, and it never let them down. Their ancestors, their biggest army, and they never fail. And so people need to get back into the system of going directly and only to ancestors for all answers for how they survived this shit.
Right.
Right.
But that's gonna be the Black experience that they're gonna have to deal with. But we're gonna have to deal with it. And I think that's at the crux of this. Because we don't. What I was told by a sister who works on all types of light gray and white, and she was saying that. You got to remember, during the Haitian Revolution, I didn't even know it was 10 years long, by the way. Though the French had cannons, the Haitians didn't. So they were taking cannons.
And they still won. Why?
She said they were being busted open, like the balls were coming into their bodies, and they were still moving because they were propped up with zombie energy.
Zombie is a kind of weird word for me.
Well, it's a weird.
It's imbued with this spiritual energy, and there's actually stories from Ghana where that has also happened. Where you know, there is and I've forgotten, and I'm so muddled, and people are going to probably crucify me for this. But there was a female warrior who went to obviously I think it was the British coming. I believe so. It might not be the British, but someone was coming to invade the village, and this female warrior went to see the local shaman, the local I don't like witch doctor. It's a bit colonized, that term, but the local shaman. And he imbued her with the strength to fight and get everything done that she had to. But he did say, if you do menstruate, that this power will be gone. Unfortunately, So she fought, and unfortunately the menstruation happened. And so she was captured, I believe, during that time because she couldn't defeat any longer. So this is something that from many oceans, from many different places, Africans and people of African descent have been using spirituality to imbue them to be able to do these kind of generational fights that change the direction of legacy, right? And we need it because we can't keep traveling. No. There's plenty of stories.
And we don't have the tanks and the armies and all. No, but it's okay. And I got it. And that was interesting to hear about the menstruation. But we don't have the military equipment.
Right.
We don't.
Right.
We don't have the military
we didn't have that.
But no, that's what I'm saying. We never had it. we never well, not when those machines came about. Now, natural
Right.
fighting and strategy, I mean, we had
Yeah.
warriors way back in the day in Africa teaching these people, stole their whole.
Yeah.
But like, so that's the thing. So that's what I tell people. So I'm just waiting for everyone to get on the same page about spirit. And I need to learn things
Ooh.
myself, because that's not something
We
I
all
know how
do.
to
I'm
do.
still going through. I'm
You
not
know.
an expert, but I'm definitely at ease, and I have a lot of knowledge that a lot of people don't. But yes, well, I don't feel like I call myself an expert yet, but I live this. You know what I mean? So every day my expertise is getting better. And I've always said this to people that you're taking learning from, make sure you are looking that they are constantly learning themselves, that they're constantly improving, that they're not just telling you, I'm the best, I'm the expert, I know everything. You cannot know everything.
No,
You cannot.
no.
You
I
can't.
mean, I'm working with 2 mediumship teachers now at advanced levels, and I'm paying for that. And I've been doing I've been getting paid as a medium for 5 years. So you're
Right.
right. You're absolutely right. But we'll definitely talk offline about some things. But this is something. This is a
Yeah.
spiritual reckoning and a spiritual awakening, and baby.
And the thing is that I think one thing that I'm quite unemotional about, and I feel that people need to move into that unemotional space, is that not everyone can come along.
Right.
The revolution is not going to allow everyone to be at the end of it. That's not how it works, right?
That's right.
And so what we have to get comfortable with is which part of the revolution we're going to be
That's
part of.
right.
Are we going to see it through to the end? Or are we just going to be part of the start, or not at all? Just make them choices. Because what I don't need is these empty posts and philosophies and grandstanding and performative bullshit. And you coming to make all this noise when we've actually got work to do. I don't need the noise. I need the work, right? And I think, we have got into a real kind of lull of what hard work means. And I'm not just saying slogging your guts out. I'm talking about being strategic and also being spiritually tough. That even though that they're attacking you, and it's something that Nelson Mandela said. He spent, I've forgotten the years that he spent in jail. 27 years. So I was going to say 33 for some reason, but 27 years in jail. And he said the reason he was always free because his mind was free. And so these are the things that spiritually can keep you going if you learn how to hone your spiritual power and also don't align it to systems and spirit and religious systems that never counted you into them.
They're there for our destruction.
Right.
I'm the big one online. I'm always telling, Black
Me
people
too.
around the world. And like you, I've traveled around the world. We've lived around the world. I have told Black people to get the hell away, especially Christianity. The Bible is nothing but a bind. It's an incantation binding tool. And even so when I say that incantation means you're like saying something.
Spell. It's a spell.
Yeah. It's a self-harming spell. And even the way they write it is traditional spell work. Thy, they, thee. I mean, you don't even know what the hell you're saying. And then your what is that, call and response, and then you're singing, you're dancing. What people don't really understand, that's how you create spell, with movement, sound, call and response, and writing it down.
And can I also say, where did they get all of that from? African spirituality.
So, but
we've
then
been doing
tell
it
us that
way before.
Well, because this planet. I have to be so careful. I
know, right? Yeah.
Well, we're native to this planet. Because
we've had these conversations, right? So we just yeah.
So we're native to this planet, Yeah. The whole planet was, brown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so we know how to live in harmony with this planet, because a lot of us, we've had to. And so, but that's, to me, that's the big game here, is that's what we're fighting for, going back to that. And at the same time, the human race, and I don't know if there's just one race, but okay, we'll say that to be nice, has to come back out of ego and come back into heart center. We've gotten into the social media and the celebrity worship. And so we're just, this is what the human race has asked for. This really, like, I sat with some guys today and I said, what is this? And they were like, well, this is the struggle the human race accepted to learn. And this black and white dynamic and this mental illness of racism, because that's all it is.
Oh, it is. It's a mental illness.
It is, because when I really look at these things online, I'm like, yo, these people are mentally ill.
For you to even consider those thoughts, a black person is inferior because
of color, and it's a mental ill, and it never stops. I mean, people are, I've heard conversations growing up with people who are dead and gone now, and I think you said a powerful thing about where are you going to be in this, because I've been trying to be a bit more unattached emotionally, because the first, 5 years ago, before people wanted to start talking about it, Black people were so concerned about their jobs. I was online screaming about it for years. I mean, I was lucky I worked for myself. And now I'm past that, and I'm glad I'm past it, because now emotionally there's a part of me That's like,
Yes.
okay, Zaya,
Yeah.
and then we're also not getting it. It's like some of us keep like these Black
Right.
Lives Matter painting on the ground. Listen, we need.
Ooh, we
Who
spoke about that last
cares?
week. The thing is also energetically and spiritually, things we want, we don't put on things that are on the ground which people tread on. That's not what we do.
Ooh, wow, I didn't even
That's
think
not
about
what
that.
we do. That's not the hoodoo tradition. That is not most of indigenous traditions. If you
That's
want
right.
something to manifest, you do not put it on something that can be dominated, to be stepped on.
That's right.
That is not what you do. You exalt it. Why do you think we have all these figures of colonial terrorists around us
Uh,
exalted?
you
It's
know they mad
ancestral
about that
worship.
because all their
It's
all their
ancestral
magic is in those
worship.
damn statues. So you know they mad about that, and that's why we're hanging from trees again. Because you got these folks out here saying,
And you,
"Oh,
and you see they exalt
so
the deaf. They exalt the deaf. Oh, listen, people have to understand the spiritual vibrations of everything that has been
right,
happening to us, but also what are the things we take on in our action. So I understand the intention. Please don't think I don't, but we
right,
have to, and this is something that we put out this week. We said we have to focus more on spiritual impact,
mm.
right?
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Spiritual impact. Also,
Right.
I had a conversation with a dear friend last week, and she also says to me she feels the second wave of these protests is going to be like the spiritualists, and it will be then our war, our spiritual war,
Mm.
that we will be doing what we do
Right.
to further this thing on, not only to imbue and strengthen who's been on the front lines, but to also further things on. And it's
Right.
really interesting to me that, you can't do anything without the spiritual, but so many people are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this? Is it anti-blackness? Is it Afrophobia? That we are
Mm.
constantly in a space where it's like, oh well, I don't really do that. That's, it's juju, it's voodoo, it's stuff like that. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
I,
What do
you
you
know,
experience in that realm?
well, so it's interesting because I'm a working psychic medium, and I'm one of the few very visible, and people
Yeah.
used to be less visible, more visible now doing
Yes,
this
of
work, and
course.
even right now there are opportunities coming to me because there are
Yeah.
so few Black
Yeah.
psychic
Yeah.
mediums, and
Yeah.
so what I tell people all the time, and I mean this. I'm going to use this term. It has its own, sort of connotations with it, but it's the witchcraft. Because when I have traveled around the world. I've lived in Asia, Europe, America, and I see the same story. And I've been to Africa. I spent 6 weeks in Kenya. It is the same thing. You've got people with these cultures. I went to this exhibit in Paris, and it was all about these different cultures and their symbolism and their tattoos and their jewelry and stuff. And the story was the same, whether it was Australia, the Philippines, Fiji. And it was the
Yes.
same thing of
Yes.
here, these people have this ancient mystical culture where their
Yes.
religion was really the earth. They worshiped the earth. They worked with the nature of the earth. But
Mother
here comes
Nature,
the
feminine
Mother
divine.
Nature, feminine divine. But here comes this colonialism, basically white folks because all humans are fighting in tribalism, but there was never this removal. And here comes white supremacy stripping them of what they naturally did for centuries. And I said, and as a spiritual worker, I said, now how the hell did they do this? Because how hard is it for us to just simply change our diet? So you mean to tell me you've got people walking around for thousands of years living a certain way,
Doing this
and
thing,
here
right.
doing this thing that works for them, and here comes this entity coming in. So it's always, and then they always come in before they come in with the guns. They come in with the religion because that is the
Hello.
witchcraft. That is the
Hey,
dirty
girl.
witchcraft, and it is
Speak on
all in
it.
these
Tell us.
books.
Tell
It is all
us.
in these
Tell
symbols.
us.
It is all in these chants. And so that's what they're doing. So we, on a soul level, have been molested for so long
The
and
violence of it
brain
all. The
I mean,
violence
I
of
had
it
one day I
all.
was meditating and I saw
Hmm.
myself on a beach in Brazil. I know I was in Bahia.
Hmm.
This was a
Hmm.
past life, and
Hmm.
I was dancing with my sisters, in
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
water, on the water's
Yeah.
edge, and here came a white man come down with these huge chains and started slapping us and stop us. I've been killed so many times in so many past lives everywhere but
Mm.
Asia for this work. And so I know
Mm.
a lot of us have, and it's coming down the DNA. And so
Hmm.
that's the thing.
Yes.
People do not, they want to give credit to everything else but spirit. And that's,
Ooh.
and I think, and at the end of the
Ooh.
day, that's the only thing that's really going to save us, that keeps us out of this loop. Because when I'm watching a show called Epics for
Yes. The
Family on
loop.
Netflix, and it's from the 70s, and the
Mm.
white family, something happened with a Black person died. It's a cartoon, but it's real. And then they
Oh,
changed,
okay.
they added Black people to all the news works. Like they're doing the same thing they're doing now. Okay,
Yeah.
systematic racism is here. We're going to plug you in. But the change is really going to come from the spiritual level.
Oh,
And
yeah.
because Haiti never went back to being colonized in that way, right? And they're
Hmm.
still
Hmm.
fucking with Haiti to this day, doing
Yeah.
earthquakes and all these
Yeah.
things. And so
Yeah.
people don't really understand. In order for us to really win and even this thing out, is going to take spiritual power. But to the credit of Black folks, you know, you've got to find someone that's willing to teach that understands it in a way. And I've worked with very many different teachers, and I have found that when I'm trying to learn some of these spiritual concepts, it's easier for me as a Westerner, because we are Westerners, to learn from other Westerners, because when you go with Native people, they teach a certain way, and getting into their culture can be difficult. And at the same time, I've dated African men who are like, oh, my grandmother's throwing shells. Who the hell wants to do that? So they have even their own families that don't honor the witch doctor.
I know. Well, that's colonialism for you. Right. That's what it does. You know what I mean? It impregnates hate of self, and then you just don't do. You leave your things, and then what happens is other people come and take your things, and then they rule the world.
Well, I think they do dirty magic to get people out of their ancient cultures, because they always come in with religion first. They never come in. If you go back, they always come in with the religion, and so people don't really understand the real tool of white supremacy is the religion.
Woo! I've been saying it. People don't want to hear it, and it's also to scrub out the feminine divine, and that's a real big part of it. And actually, I would say that actually white supremacy was kind of a subset. It was like a lucky draw of what it was doing. They were really just trying to take the power of women away, because women were the healers. They were the powerful kind of sorceresses and goddesses. And this is why we actually have Friday the 13th. Because while they were trying to force Christianity on people, they were throwing all these witches, burning them, because they had the power. They could bring together communities. They would heal communities. They would educate them about the ways of nature and how they could heal themselves through nature. But obviously, men can't have control when women are the ones doing this work. And this fight for control happened through the advent of Christianity and burning women. And then we had white supremacy, such as, okay, well, look at us who's doing this, and we look like this, and actually, ooh, who are these people? And then, so, you know, people have to understand this was a lot of luck. This wasn't actually a real strategic, oh, we're going to go in 1600s to do this, and then the 1700s we're going to do this, and then these things were lucky. And when you become lucky like that, because you're doing spiritual work, because they were manifesting their luck, and their ancestors were helping them through.
That's right. And that's the thing too, you know, you said something very powerful there, because at the end of the day, this, as much as it is a race war, a spirit war, as it is a divine feminine and divine masculine. And what I'm about to say, people won't like it. But if racism went away tomorrow and only Black people were left on the planet, Black women and men would still have to deal with one another, because that's another issue. And people would still have to accept witches and mediums and their own spiritual gifts, and that would still be a problem. So we're just at the very beginning of all of this, and I don't know.
It's a rugged new beginning, and I don't know what it will end up being. No, I don't think in my lifetime I'm going to be able to see the end of this. I do hope, though, that I do see some changes, such as just our humanity being legal, right? So that when we walk down, and if we're sleeping in a car, we're not shot. If we like those kind of things, I expect. And that will be demanded, and that will happen, because no one is going to be living like that anymore. No. And so that's a very real thing. I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, what we're talking about, and no one wants to really admit, we have to have the implosion of the West. That's what we're looking at. We're seeing the West imploding. That's what we're experiencing.
And it's all self-made. No one did it to them. No one did it to them. No one did it to you. No one did it to you. You know, let's look at this now. UK, Brexit. No one did that to you. You voted to leave the EU. You do not produce enough food for yourself. Your industry is basically non-existent, which your beloved Tories tore to shreds. The last living UK company that you had was Cadbury's, which you sold to Kraft, which is a US company. So there are no real big UK conglomerates left, right? Jaguar gone. All of these things have gone. You do not have an industry in England. The industry you had was the finance industry. And because you're leaving the EU, they don't want you no more. So they're taking their millions and they're moving to the other parts, which have remained in the EU. You've done it to yourself. So not only have you destabilized your food system, which you've nicely gone and done in Africa and all these other places and induced famine and killed millions of people, you've done it to yourself, because you have a barren little island that has never been able to sustain itself, food-wise or otherwise, and hence why you created the biggest empire, because you didn't have it on your own land.
That's right.
And so this implosion is self-made. No one did this to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason this has happened is because you did not build a system that was about everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You built it about you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's unsustainable. And so here we are in 2020.
How do you see the implosion of the US? How do you view it? Because
I mean, it's different things. And when we talk about implosion, what we have to understand is it's going to be so many different things going off and cracking up and exploding. And it's not just going to be a falling in. It's going to be a coming out and up and through and things. It's going to be like projectile vomiting and diarrhea. It's going to come from everywhere. We don't know how to stop it. It's going to like, shit, it's coming out there too. It's coming out there too. Every single industry that we have is coming. The shit is coming out.
Yeah.
From theater to film to music.
Sports.
Every single one. Sports, all of it. So what can I say? You've done it yourself because I'm in your boardrooms. You get me out.
Right.
I didn't do this to you. You wouldn't even give me a job. So you got to deal with this one on your own. I'm just gonna sit back.
That's right.
Like this, looking.
And I really feel
doing
like
what I do.
Even like I have a lot of my white friends protest, and they're like, "We need to protest." I said, "Oh no, y'all protest now. I'm not doing shit. This is between you and your cousins." I refuse. I'm posting 1 or 2 things. I'm not watching shit. I'm working. No. I'm working. I'm about to turn up my witchcraft on my end. I'm studying in the back, and that's it. I'm not yelling.
Yeah, no. And also that yelling takes so much energy from you that you need for other things to sustain other people. Now the yelling's needed. I will never
it's
say
not
yelling's not needed.
Right.
It has its place. But it's just that my place of doing it was really my 20s, to be frank, and my early 30s, and I did it. And I did it. And I lost jobs. I lost relationships. I've sacrificed. Trust me, because this isn't a one-day thing. Right. This isn't a thing where we just are at a point where it's like, oh, I got to go on the street because this is the first time I'm protesting. No, I've protested when people have done some bullshit in the boardroom and been like, we can't do this. And then asked not to come back. That's a protest.
Right. That's a protest.
I've been living this all the time. So it's really important that people understand what their place is. There are some people that can do the shouting thing and that's their place, and I give it to you. Right. I will give you that. And then there's some people who can do the strategy, and there's some people who can do other things. So let's appreciate all these roles, and let's get these cogs turning, right? Because
it all plays a part. It all counts.
This is it.
It all counts.
This is it.
I just don't want to get my thyroid, and everything all aggravated, and it's just, and also I don't have insurance. I'm not taking a bullet in my face. I got to work. I work for myself. I'm not doing that. But I do listen. I have been having this focus lately about not paying taxes and the law, because as I see these our bodies hanging from trees in 2020, and I start to learn really about the government and how laws really get made. I'm starting to now have that conversation and start trying to reach out to people, like, how can we really get laws changed? Because all this other stuff be damned. Even the fact that when these police are found guilty, the citizens pay the taxes on that winning. That should come out of their salary. That should
230 million the New York takes from taxpayers to actually quash all of the complaints that are made against them, against police brutality, misconduct. 230 million. But we can't feed but kids can only get their one meal from school, from a public institution.
Right.
Parents can't feed their children, but we're giving 230 million to, rightfully, because people have been wronged, they're awarded that money.
Right. But it should come from them.
6 billion. Right. But 6 billion.
Right.
6
and
billion.
That's just New York alone. And then 6. Yeah. And my thing is, as soon as you start tapping their pockets, you're going to see a whole lot of that stuff happen. Stop it. Because money talks.
It always has. It always has. And, there's things I've mentioned before about money. Well, actually in private conversations, is that as I'm getting older, I'm really respecting the energy of money. And so when I'm saying that, is that money is something that needs to be respected, right? So when you're making it, respect it. Don't treat it like something that will always be there, because it might not one day. So that's not about coming from a scarcity mindset. It's from being like, okay, let me just be discerning with where I focus my money and my spending from. And it's exactly the same way we have to respect the energies of most of the things that we are kind of doing. We're focusing on, we're putting our money, our time, right? And that is how we manifest and we keep things going. Okay, the scarcity mindset, which I understand it. We've all had it. We've all, there's some things I still do. I don't feel right unless I have 2 of what I'm buying in my cupboard.
Oh,
So
wow.
you never know. But that's just me. I'm also a bit crazy. I've got lots of Virgo on my chart. Yes, I will admit to
Me
that.
too.
And
Me
so
too.
I'm a perfectionist, and I'm always trying, you know, and when sometimes I forget I have a busy life. And so I don't want to open a cupboard and then I'm like, shit, my antibac wipes are done. No, I've got
Right.
2 packs there. You know,
Right.
I was a Girl Scout, promised to be prepared. I was always prepared. Don't play with me, girl. I was prepared, right?
Well, let me ask you this, because I have some of my followers on here, and
Yes, go for it.
you're one of the. It's you. Do you know Funleo? Aya Funleo?
I've heard the name. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
think I've
heard from
seen.
her,
Yeah.
and you're like the only 2 sisters that I know that really understand about African spirituality and the ancestor work. And what I have found, because I work day and night with Black people, mostly primarily in my work, we like structure. We like the reason why religion is appealing. Not me. I don't like none of that shit. Don't tell me shit. But most people, I know I'm really wild. I get very adult, you know.
No, I get you. My personality's like that too.
Yeah, I'm like, don't tell me anything. But you know, but we like. That's why the religion. Even when it's on my own. This is how you don't drown, Zaya. Let me drown, bitch, and then I'll figure it out when I get back up.
Do you know why I'm hard-headed? I'm telling you, the ways that my ancestors read me sometimes, they're like, listen, if you ask me this question once more, when I told you last week, I'm like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to, I'm just understanding. You know, but that's also leader, that's also warrior, right? That's also so, because that's also why we are awake, because we don't just take what's being told. And so that's the other side of it. And people don't recognize, you know, oh, that's a bad child, they're disobedient. No, bitch, I'm not a slave. Anyway, so, but I want
everything this morning. I'm like, where?
But I want you to, if you could share with folks here, how to, what the power, what is the benefit of working with the ancestors, and how can they start simply getting in touch with their ancestors?
Oh, of course. I would definitely give you guys that gift. The thing about your ancestors, right? And we have deities and gods and things like that. But the thing is, there's hierarchy in the spiritual world. Your ancestors are your first stop. Why are they your first stop? Because you are your ancestors. They created you. They are your genes. You are their genes. So who loves you more than your family? I mean, sometimes, unfortunately, there are other people that love us more than our family. But let's think about who has given birth to us, and why have they given birth to us, and what were their hopes and dreams for us? Our ancestors are our biggest army. And it's not just the ones that you know from your great-granddad, your granddad, I'm talking about fucking millennia that is standing behind me like that. Making sure that I don't falter, because they had a dream for me. They had a dream for me that they expect me to enable, to make happen, right? So your ancestors are the first stop, because they're your biggest spiritual army. They want you to win. So why are they going to do you wrong? It's also good for me to mention that not all ancestors were good, in the sense that, let's look at our family members. You know, you've got some dodgy family members which you don't fuck with, and you don't talk to. You don't go to them and tell your business. You know, your mum said, look, don't tell them that we're going on holiday. Don't tell them that shit. We don't talk to them. You know who I'm talking about in your family that you don't tell shit to, but they still your blood, right? They still your blood. So we're not going to call on those ancestors. We're going to say ancestors that are beneficial to my cause, who love me and I love them and want the best for me. Please come and make yourself seen, make yourself heard in my life. I need your direction and grace, okay? And so it's really important that they're the first people. And we can do very simple things. A thing that I urge everyone to do is an altar. Is an ancestral altar. Ancestral altars must be just for the ancestors. They are not to be mixed if you're trying to create money altars. Ancestral altar. How do we create it? What's the first things we can do? Now, I do want to have a disclaimer. I am not an initiated priest in any African religion. Okay? So this information I'm giving you is just from my personal follow what I do and what I've been advised. But please go and get an initiated African spiritualist to tell you what you specifically need for your altar, or whether you need an altar at all. Okay? But I will tell you, a good place to start with ancestral worship and trying to communicate with them is creating a space in your living area where you can have their photos up. Right? What were their favorite things? Did your granddad or great granddad like to smoke cigars? Put a cigar down. What was his favorite drink? Rum. Did your aunt like to wear jewelry? Put some jewelry down. You know, this is something we're worshiping there. So put their favorite things there. What did they like to eat? Cook them a meal one day. Leave it there for 24 hours. Say, here you go. I know you loved this when you were here. So take some now. You know, there are lots of things we can do. We can give money. We can do, there's lots of things to do. But as I said, I'm not an initiated priest, but I'm saying your first port of call would be to create an altar, an ancestral altar. If you have photos of your ancestors, that is amazing. If you have names, even better. If you don't, then you will summon them and you will say, for all my ancestors for whose names I do not know, please be with me, protect me. And you will do that, and you will start to have a very constant and consistent communication style with them. So that's the very first port of call.
Beautiful.
And it's very easy, and it's a very nice calming thing to do, a meditative thing to do for yourself. And honestly, you'll see the way that they'll show you little signs. They'll throw a white feather. You know, you might have some anxiety and you're walking in the street and a white feather might fly in front. A white feather means it's going to be all right. And so they're always with you, always with you, always trying to give you the best. So that's what I would suggest. That's what I would suggest.
So I want people to know about your cards. Do you have your cards handy?
I don't, but give me 1 second. Let me get
Okay. So while she's going to get her cards, guys, for those of you who are here, Simone is like me. She's also a journalist, a writer, a publicist, but she also does readings, and she works on the ancestors realm, and she has these cards, and she can tell you about these cards. Yeah.
My cards, my beautiful baby. So, I gave birth to these 2 years ago. Yep, 2 years ago, a year ago. No, 2 years ago. And here they are. Cards. Okay, so these are Adinkra symbols. These are the very, very, very first time that Adinkra has been used in this way, okay? So Adinkra it's like a philosophy system. It's a communication system. And so really all of these symbols have meanings and sayings behind them. And why it's really good is because they actually are the blueprint for our understanding to life, how to get through life. And there's so many sayings and things we do now and symbols that have come from the Adinkra. The Adinkra is ancient. This is not, it happened in the last 50 years. This is hundreds, millennia years
Where's
old.
it coming from? Is it Ghanaian or?
So what I will say is the Akan people. So Akan people is a tribe that is found in the Ivory Coast and Ghana. I will say it was predominantly found in Ghana, the Akan tribe. But because of infighting and other things, lots of us spread out across Ivory Coast. Remember that these countries were not delineated the way it was. We didn't do that. We moved in clans. We don't move in these borders. We don't understand. Africans are nomadic people. We move where you can live. So if there's a drought one year, you gonna move. And maybe you end up in Mali, but hey, that's where we are, that's where we eating. What you gonna do? Okay. So that's how, Africans have always congregated. And so the Akan stretch from the Ivory Coast, and they're actually most of West Africa, to be frank, around that area. And so the Ivorian Akans created this Jeman, that's the name of that tribe, created the very first Adinkra symbol, which is called Adinkra Hini. I'm just trying to find it for you guys real quick. And so that symbol, it's believed it's the first, and it's about leadership. This was the very first symbol, and it was one that only the kings and chiefs would wear, right? And so the Adinkra was a very sacred thing that only kind of like royalty and like the chiefs and higher ups would be using and wearing, and it was used on cloth as well. Then an Ashanti king in Ghana heard that the Ivorian king had copied one of his stalls. That meant that the Ashanti king went into Ivory Coast and captured him and defeated him, because it was a real disrespect to kind of copy any stall. Defeated him and saw the Adinkra there and thought, these are great. Took them back to Ghana, and then they started adding to the Adinkra. So there was only a very few in the beginning, but the Akans of the Ashantis, the Ashanti Akans in Ghana started adding to them. And also other tribes in Ghana have also got their own and add to it as well. So there's hundreds of these symbols, and they've all got meanings. The symbol that we have for love, heart, comes from the Adinkra. The concept of the third eye, Kojo Baden, that comes from the Adinkra. There's so many things you guys are using and saying in your life. Sankofa, go back and get it, right? Equally yoked, the moon and star. This is about balance between the feminine and the thing. Equally yoked. That's where we get these concepts that we have, right? And so it's a beautiful thing to me. I just love it. This one I have to, because I love my Mother Nature. This is the symbol for Mother Nature. Asasi Ye Drew, which means the earth has weight. So this is that we have to give Mother Nature reverence, because through all things, through her is why we have life. Right. They say through all things we have, through Christ we have all things.
That's a spell. People love saying, and then they be like blood of Christ, and then you tell them about some voodoo, and they have heart attack about a fucking chicken. People don't want to hear.
So, you know, these beautiful colours are here. This is Kodro Baden, which is the third eye. This is what we know as the third
Oh
eye
my God,
now.
look at that. Yeah. Look at
You
that.
see it?
Look
And you
at
see
that.
other indigenous
Yes.
things have similar looks. Look,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, our ancestors were fucking brilliant. For
Mm-hmm.
them to have done this years ago, and this still means something, this still
Right.
give us information,
Right.
knowledge, how to handle
Right.
our lives, the
Right.
brilliance of African ingenuity. And when I say African, I'm talking about all of us. I'm talking about
Yeah.
anyone of
Around the
African descent.
world.
I'm
That's
not,
right.
yeah, I'm not just
Right. I
saying,
know what
oh,
you're saying.
Africans
Yeah.
on the continent. Nah, African. This is us. No one can take this away from us.
Well,
No
you know,
one.
the reality is
You know?
we knew how to touch with the spiritual side of things, because it's not just this
Mm-hmm.
planet that is here.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
I'll say this, the human
Mm-hmm.
race is as dumb as it's ever been. I mean, we are literally asleep. I mean, we might as well just
Yes.
be like putting our heads in wet diapers and going,
Right.
I'm here.
Right.
I mean, this is dumb as hell. I mean, we're so disconnected now.
You're
People are
making
dumb
me
as
laugh.
shit.
Yeah.
The human race
Sorry,
gets on my nerves.
no,
Honestly.
I'm not lying.
You know
The
what I
more
mean?
I get older, I'm just like,
So
please go away. I don't want
please,
to
so
do this.
fucking
Just leave
stupid.
it. Yeah.
And they enjoy it, and the trap
Yeah.
music and just dumbing themselves down. And dumbness, especially in America, is like marketed as this sexy
I
thing.
know.
I mean, I grew up.
Anti-intellectual.
Yes.
Anti-intellectual.
Yes.
Anti-intellectual.
Yes.
And it's something that capitalism rather needs, because if you know, you ain't buying shit. You know, I don't need that.
No.
I can get it from nature,
No.
or I can conjure that shit up myself. Confidence. I need confidence, so I need to go out and buy a new dress. No, bitch, I've got confidence. I need no dress to show
I'm
me
going to
shit.
Family Dollar. I got a Family Dollar shirt on now. My stuff is stuck in storage in New York City. I mean,
because I wear clothes. Clothes don't wear me. So if this shit is £2, so what's you gonna know about it? Don't look £2 right now, though.
Right. And so it's just, and that's the other thing I mean, this is the part I don't want to enjoy this part. I do feel that we are going to be forced to get off the bottle of,
I know, capitalism.
Yes.
It's coming.
Oh, that's
it's
going to be
coming.
rough. That's
Divesting is coming. It is going to be rough for everyone, because that's the only system we've known.
Right.
That's what we feel is normal, and it's not. But it's just, my God, that shift is going to be, I think, the hardest. Because what we know is that making money is where we have to be. We have to make it so we live. And actually, we're going to be taught something very different.
Well, you know, one day I said to myself, why can't I just go outside and get food off the ground? And I thought about, so wait a minute, food grows on the earth. We've been so domesticated that we don't even know how to live on the planet. Technically, we're living wrong. We're so disconnected. We should be living. If it rains, we should know how to live in.
Right.
Everything is here. And so this capitalism has gotten completely in the way. We don't need money. And even now, when they're saying the economy is falling, why? Because people are just buying what they need and staying home.
I'm like, what in the hell? Because we just need food and some toilet roll. Now we have crumbling industries. Oh my God, restaurants. They were always nice to haves. I mean, there's some people who that's how they ate every day. Right. Oh, I guess you're blessed with the pockets. But there's some people who didn't. They were nice to haves. They're not essential services. And yes, they do employ people, but we could be employed in other ways too. Right. You know, and I've had to learn that. My skill set is being a PR, public relations specialist. Our industry more or less died with influencers and social media. It more or less died. So you pivot.
Yeah,
so you pivot. That's what survivors do. That's what some of resilience do. That's when you got that. And if you don't know how to pivot, then you're just not going to make it.
See that, I will be honest. I'll say to all of you, I don't want to live harshly. Okay.
Who? Okay, let's just be clear. I want to be clear with everyone on something. I have these spiritual gifts, but baby, let me tell you.
I'm laughing because I know what she's about to say. I don't want to live night. I mean, we're black. We struggle enough.
No, I'm going to be very clear here. This life, which is mine, is not for toiling. And I have toiled and I continue to toil, but it is not for toiling. So get that idea out of your head quick.
Yeah.
I'm here for joy. I'm here for joy. I will fight for my joy as hard as I fight for justice.
That's right.
Please don't think that I'm here the simple things are going to be hard for me and I got to struggle. Fuck that. Too many of people in my line, your line, has struggled. I'm not doing it no more. We don't have to do it no more. I'm not struggling. Fuck that. I'm not your martyr. I don't
Right.
care. I've got the body of what you think a martyr is. This dark skinned, slightly overweight woman, and you know, oh, she's gonna cook good and she's gonna take care of me. Bitch, no, I'm gonna sit down and
No,
watch you do some
I'm
shit.
going
I
to
ain't doing
sit
nothing.
and I'm not doing anything. I'm trying to get a cleaner to clean this little studio ass
Woo,
apartment because I'm
child.
tired.
I used to have a cleaner, and when things, I will be reinstating
That's
cleaners
right.
because I
I
was
feel a
looking at
little
everything else.
bad
I don't
about
have
it.
the time. No,
I feel bad, but
no,
I'm like, you know what? No, I'm exhausted. And a
no.
deep clean, because we know what clean is. You know what I'm saying?
This is it.
Like
And
a deep
we're being
clean.
strategic about our time. I can't run a
Right.
business
Right.
and be a domestic worker in my house. I can't, not in this, I can't do that. And I'm not going to do that because I saw my mum do that. Go and work full time, raise kids, cook, clean. No.
It's indentured servitude. I don't.
And it's unpaid.
And unloved and unwilling,
And I'm not.
and it's not sexy. I'm not doing it. And that's something. Can we talk about that for a minute? I think our generation of women, I know that, you have motherhood ideals. I don't. But it's such a different time. And we're also going to be addressing what does the family look like? What is the role of women? Like I've seen these articles
Ooh,
in the New York Times about how all these
yes.
women are saying they have husbands, but they don't have helpmates. And it
So
wasn't
this,
until
so this is
Corona.
the thing I've been saying. You a single mum because you married,
Right.
but he don't help you with nothing. He doesn't lift a finger. He doesn't even do child rearing. So you're a
Nothing.
single mum.
Yes.
You got to
And
ring
then
on
you got to give
for
somebody a blowjob every night. At least I
woo
get to just go to
child
sleep without, I mean,
locked door and
we
shit.
all adults, right? I don't have to I can go to sleep, not take a bath. Because that's an extra
No,
job.
right. No one poking me in the back with
Yeah.
whatever, saying, oh, nah, I'm good. Good night with my nice bonnet on. That's what the fuck. My curl's gonna stay fresh. I ain't gonna be all messy
Right.
because you've been roughing me up and stuff. No, I'm gonna be fresh.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is, you see, listen, men would never do this work for free. Never.
Never!
Never.
They would have a whole government paycheck for this shit.
They will be on the streets. No, no, no. They ain't messing with you. What? I'm telling all of you right now, this woman here, I ain't for everyone. I'm not for everyone. My ancestors didn't make me for everyone.
That's
I'm
right.
for the best because I give
We're
the best.
new.
And please, women, hear me from my heart. You are the best. Restore that
That's
feminine
right.
divinity.
That's
Stop
right.
fucking around. I'm not playing no more. Stop
Yeah.
fucking around.
That's
She
right.
came up to show us with Me Too. Stop
That's
fucking
right.
around and
That's right.
degrading the feminine divine.
That's
She
right.
needs your support. We need to be thanking her through all things. Through her is why we live, which is Mother Nature.
That's right.
Please do not forget that.
Honor
Do
who you
not forget
are,
her.
ladies.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna go to another hot button topic:
That's what we do.
trans. You know, my favorite relative, my youngest brother is gay, and he's been gay
Yeah,
since he's pretty much been born, and we've all
yeah,
known that, and I
yeah.
love him. He came out to me on MySpace. It was so hilarious.
Oh,
Such a beautiful soul. So
MySpace.
I'm not doing like, oh, I have black friends. I'm just letting
Right.
people
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
But one of
The
the
J,
things
yeah.
when we talk about the divine feminine and we talk about this trans issue, which is its own thing, and I love the fact that that's still coming up in our black community because
Exactly.
I've been with my brother and I've seen straight males looking like they want to beat him up. And
Yeah,
that's been scary for me, straight black men.
yeah,
I'm not gonna front.
yeah,
But there's this thing with trans women
yeah.
who seem, not all of them, but there's this displacement, this lack of honor of the feminine, of
Yeah,
women, and even by
yeah,
other women. And I'm so
yeah,
over it. And what I realize is that we've been taught to not really honor who we are.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not about whether you can have a baby or not, but if you're walking around here with a vagina and some
Mm-hmm.
titties, you are
Mm-hmm.
immediately coming in second and third place, no matter, even if you're white. So don't sit here and pretend like that's not and you're the one that brings life. Yes, they plant the
Yeah.
seed, but we bring that harmonious energy from spirit to human and through the vessel. Even if you
Very
can't have
true.
children, still that's what we're born to do. So
Yeah.
we're not only populating the human race, but we also come in with this emotional intelligence, this natural magic, and women don't really understand and honor that. And so they let anyone come in the room and say, I am woman too. No, you're not. You're male born. You have to honor that, even as you feel differently. And I honor that, but don't dishonor me. So it's
Well,
like,
it's a tough one, right? This is a tough one because this is where all of our identities have to have space to be, right? And also the fact is that we were actually taught gender in the wrong way. We were, that's a fact. So this is how I feel about it, and I'm still in motion in working in landing, right? But I will say this: if you want to call yourself a woman, go along. I don't care. I honestly don't care. But I am going to say that there are different ways to be women, and that all of these ways should be heard. No one way can be silenced, and no one way can be trumped. And sometimes focus needs to happen on one person or one type of womanhood to another. Now, that's all I know. The rest of it, well, we're going to have to duke it out. But that's all I know at the moment. And so if someone wants to come and say, I'm a woman, and they haven't had the same biology as me, I'll be like, well, okay. I mean, what does it do to me? It don't do me nothing. And to be frank, that journey from coming from a place where you were born one way,
that's
and then
true.
you're
That's
like,
something else.
I'm glad I didn't have to go through that. So I'm like, okay, well, if that's what you need, if that's what it is, okay, cool. But no, I'm not going to allow my experiences to not be a thing, to not be fat. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to. Right, and that's fine too. And that's fine too. But I'm not going to dishonor your experiences. I'm not going to dishonor any of that. So I'm not in a place where I want to be like, well, you're not X and you're not. I just don't, because I've had people tell me about how I'm not Ghanaian because I was born in Britain. I'm like, oh really? Because they were trying to kick my head in Britain before that shit. I didn't know I weren't Ghanaian. You know, so I'm in a space.
So you come in a different space of that.
Yeah,
I come in a space of no one really understands the power of women, because I know I'm a damn good psychic medium. And that is because I am woman.
Yes.
Because I'm an empath. Because I have a hyper gift of sensitivity. That powers my gift. And I see how women are consistently disrespected because of our emotional intelligence and our soft gifts. And that's why I come in with that much fire, because I'm like,
no. Trust me, I understand. The feminine divine at every angle, in every way, has been degraded, and we do it to ourselves too. And that was my message earlier, right? Yeah. And so I see in everything. Listen, in the somewhere I worked, they painted the hallways pink, and everybody started complaining, saying that it was too feminine. And I got really annoyed. I was like, why is feminine bad? Women and men. But I was like, why is feminine bad? Why is a pink corridor so offensive to you? And do you see the levels that we go about?
Because even gay men and trans women get killed because they go feminine. That's some serious shit.
That's the point. That's it.
That's what you're saying.
Getting killed because you're a black. So this is what I mean. Like, we can call ourselves what the fuck we like. The fact is that these things we know are true. Women are degraded. You gonna join this women fight? Come in. We got room. We got room, and there's a fucking fight on your hands, because this shit ain't gonna end. Not now. And
I just want us to be honored, because I see a lot of the conversation is we're the same. You don't matter. And there were actual feminist parades that were stopped by trans men that were literally, well, we can't join. So that's because I've seen a lot of that. So I just want people to know that the woman is honorable, woman is powerful, women are more powerful than men. Period.
I mean, the thing is like, I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be. If that makes you feel uncomfortable, please go to therapy and deal with it. Right. Don't bring it to me. It's none of my business how you feel about yourself, and you will not change how I feel about myself because of how you feel about yourself. Those things are true too, and they can exist against somebody who was not born the same as me, trying to call them. So that can exist. You know what I mean? So I don't want to label. I don't want to police their label. Fine, have it. You want it?
I guess my last question, because we're almost at our time.
I know, nearly.
My last question is, what do you think the rest of the year is going to look like? What are your feelings on things?
Okay, this is what I think. I think that the summer, we've got to be really careful in the summer. I think the summer, as sun does, with people who, especially in colder climes, so I'm talking about Northeast America and stuff like that, that now is summer. We want to be outside. We want to do the things, we feel a certain type of freedom. That's what sun activates in us, right? Be careful. Be careful. Your home is the safest place for you for a number of reasons. The energies outside are all about confusion, uprisings, and things like that. And also there are active agents trying to disrupt communities. And when I say communities, I'm not just talking about Black and brown communities.
That's right.
I'm talking about people living in the same proximity.
That's
right.
Right.
These incredible fireworks that we're experiencing in Brooklyn right now.
All over.
I'm trying to understand how, if it's just young Black and brown people, how they had that amount of money to sustain fireworks for nearly 2 weeks now, I think.
Yeah.
With the level that they are, because they're expensive things.
They sound
and
like
where
bombs.
are they getting from?
Right.
So I just want people to be very discerning about being out, how they're going out, why they're going out, and just finding a space which is safe for them. That's one thing. I think by September, if we're not in a kind of round 2 of this COVID, another second uprising of the COVID, then it's going to be, something is going to be a second rising, okay, September time, because the warmer climes are dying down. People are really setting in with the reality that I haven't worked since April, because now it's still, you can enjoy some of the outside, and you're just trying to keep your mind off it and meditate and things like that. But now the days are getting darker. Winter is coming. Bills, the courts are open. Evictions might have been way into, so just September's going to be another flashpoint. Christmas time, I just feel like it more of the same. I just want people to really start really spiritually imbuing themselves around resilience. This is going to be a tough, rocky fucking road. It's not going to be a quick win, and nothing's going to be fixed. We are leaderless, right? In a place that likes leadership, right? I don't like leadership. I don't think we need leadership models, but we are leaderless. So please stop doing all of this. Oh, leaders, if we just get this one out, then this will happen.
No.
This is the core of everything. It doesn't matter. I mean, do what you think you got to do. But if you think that real change comes from all of that, we would have had it a long time ago. So that's what I'm seeing for the end of the year. More of the same, but there's going to be some huge flashpoints, and people could get hurt. I mean, really hurt, and things could look very different. But I think this is where we have to be discerning.
Yeah, I agree.
What are you feeling?
Well, they're gonna try to bring back another COVID thing, shut everybody down, because they're trying to get these bloodlines through these vaccinations. So that's that's a whole nother thing. And I wish we could come back right on at the hour, because I have 5 calls today, so I got to go prepare for that. But I will say this: everyone, be very mindful between Halloween and February 15th with your money. I keep seeing some sort of financial attack, some sort of cyber attack on the banks. And I haven't looked up the law yet, but I intuitively feel that I'm not sure the FDIC actually covers if there's a digital attack,
whether you'll get your money back. Wow.
Because the FDIC was written before digital technology. So taking money out, if everybody, I would say Halloween, if you've got 5,000, take it out, put it in a cash back box in your house or in a vault, and hold it there until mid-February. Because there's something weird is going to happen, and something, prepare for nonsense around this election. We saw what happened as soon as this person was about to get impeached, and whatever that means. And so prepare for some really weird stuff to happen November through the end of the year. I do think we'll go up and down with COVID. I do think herd immunity is all we have for this. That's all we have. And so I understand people going out. And like you said, a lot of people are not going to make it to the end of this thing. And I'm going to be honest, if you're dying now, you're probably getting a get out of jail free card, because this shit is about to be very real. So it's not a bad thing to die now. It's not. Dead people, I talk to dead people every day, all day. They're chilling so fucking hard. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And so, if you die, I just don't want a terrible death. Go to sleep. Something simple.
Nice, simple.
Simple and nice. And so it's just that. But I think just keeping, and I will encourage everyone to open up their spiritual gifts, because Corona is a spiritual reset. She is here to empower. So whatever you've been wanting to study or feel, it's going to be easier to assess it. We have all these retrogrades going on, and I try not to tune in too much of that, but there is a lot of crazy planetary stuff happening between now.
But this is why I said, just stay home.
Summer, stay home.
Just stay your ass home.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah. So just really quickly, where can we find you, Zaya? We love you. We want to know where we can find you. Tell us. Tell us.
Yes. So guys, you can book a psychic reading with me over at www.zya.global and use the code referral 10 for $10 off. That code is forever good for one time. And then
Yeah.
where can people buy your cards? Because they're always, my team, they're
Yes,
always looking
yes,
for.
of course. So
Yes.
adinkraliving.com, adinkraliving.com. That's the first place. You can come to here, Tools for Living, and you can buy
Right.
straight off the Instagram. So
Okay.
please, they're always open. They're here for you. That's why I created them. These
Yes.
babies
Are
are
you
your
still doing the
gateway.
candles as well, or not at the
Yes,
moment?
I do.
Yes.
Adinkra intention candles. I do Adinkra intention kind of scented candles, and I've got something new up my sleeve as well, which I'm really
Okay.
excited about. So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
But I'm so excited. So I think we've got about 40 seconds left.
Okay.
Give us just one word you're going to leave us with in the next for 5 seconds. Just one word that you want to leave us with.
Empowerment. Empower
Yes.
yourselves in every way.
Yes. I
Fortify.
love it.
Yes.
Oh, Zaya, you've been
Yeah.
amazing. It's always so good that I
It's
catch up with
always
you.
good.
Thank you so much, my love. And thank you, everyone, for joining this Sunday
Thank
morning.
you.
Take care. We'll be back next week. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you, honey. Bye-bye. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone, for joining.
Bye.
Bye-bye.